Thank you everyone for joining us. I am Catherine, the Director of Marketing at alwaysAI, and we are super excited to have you join us for the Dataset Management tutorial. We have Steve Griset here, who is alwaysAI's CTO and co-founder, and Todd Gleed, the Director of Product Management, joining us to walk you through our new Dataset Management feature of the alwaysAI Platform 2.0. So I'm super excited to hand it off to Steve to kick us off.
Well, thank you, Catherine. So this is the first of a series of webinars we'll be doing throughout Q2 and of course Q1, the end of, and it's really surrounding our new release of Platform 2.0. And what Platform 2.0 is going to do for us is boost us as an end-to-end platform, so that you never have to leave alwaysAI to create a data set, train a model, build an application, deploy and maintain that application, and then get analytics driving back from the application. So we did start the journey in Q3 of last year, where we released analytics into the platform. Hopefully sometime in Q2 we can come back and revisit that and do a webinar like we have on now. I'll have to get that scheduled. We'll be following up in April with another one around remote deployment and how you manage an IoT device out there, or an instance in the main in a cloud system, and so forth, on both the application and the model on that. And then we'll be going into some of our deep learning. We're adding a great new feature to that called incremental learning, which to allow focus towards object detection, was pretty unique in the industry, so that you can add classes to your current model without having to retrain it. So, but enough about the future. Let's talk about what's happening today. And today's webinar is around dataset management. And dataset management, as you know, is very important. It's organizing and getting the data annotated and ready for model training. And that, of course, is what really has driven the huge adoption of computer vision out there. So it's the ability to build these deep learning AI networks and allow them to help companies with productivity, for everything from parking garages to mining. So big swath of stuff out there that these things help with. When we first started on the 1.0 platform, we didn't think we would need to build this. We thought there was a bunch of best of breeds and products out there. And what came back was a lot of feedback that said, we want to work with alwaysAI in their environment only. And we also want you to fix some of the gaps that are out there in those other products, because just not all that great for them. So anyway, that led us to 5 principles on developing this platform, and they're really flexibility, ease of use, greater control of my data, efficiency, and then last and always most important, privacy. So really the 2 principles kind of go together: flexibility and greater control. A lot of times what we were noticing out there is people were limited to having a data set within their project, but not being able to share images and so forth around it. And then also not being able to add and delete individual images without redoing the data set itself. And so these things were actually creating a lack of control and flexibility environment. So what we did is decouple the systems from projects, the data sets from projects. We allow you to add and delete things to the data set, or create a new thing. We'll talk about a collection from a set of data sets that you can add images and so forth. So we think we've hit 2 of the principles really well. We spent a lot of time on user experience. So the ease of use, you'll see when Todd demonstrates, we have a great new UI UX to it. Let's get down to efficiency. So the problem with having a data annotation system outside, and dataset management system outside of your platform was, well, you went over and worked on that, download your data set, then upload it to model train. Now you don't have to do any of that. And that'll allow for a lot of efficiency. And then also something we've done too is show, and you'll see this from Todd when he demos, but be able to see what you have in that data set. How is it distributed? What's going into tests? What's going into training? What's going to go into the runtime test on the system. So we have that in there too. And then last, something that to me was very strange is many of these other third-party tools were actually saying, well, once you upload your data set, we own it. That's not what we're doing here. Absolutely, because we are an enterprise company, your data is your data. It is not our data. We will not share your data. The data, that's up for you to do through our collaboration function. It's not up for us to do. So your data is secure. It is your data. So with that review of the 5 principles that went into it, I'd like to turn it over to our head of product management here, Todd Gleed, and he's going to demo this really exciting product we have right now. Todd?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'm excited to show you guys this product. Before I get started, I just wanted to say a couple things. First is that in my time here at alwaysAI, I've trained a lot of computer vision models, and I know the pain of annotating thousands, tens of thousands of images for use in object detection models. So I know what that's like, how painful that is. So really, for this tool, we tried to design it in a way to alleviate those pain points and make it easier for you to manage your data, resulting in more robust data sets that then will result in better performing models. Another thing I wanted to do is thank the engineers and designers who put so much time into building this great product and allow me to show it to you today. So let's get into what we made. Let me share my screen here. Find the right. Okay, is that showing up?
You're doing great.
Looks like it. Okay. Great. So for this demo, I'm kind of going around a project of detecting PPE on construction sites. So that would be helmets, high visibility vests, eventually goggles. Really at this stage, kind of focusing on helmets. But it's one of our verticals that we're spending some time in, and this is someone who has maybe trained a model and wants to augment an existing data set. So the first step is getting data into our dataset management platform. So if you're an existing user, you've got data sets, you've been training them, you've got a list here. It's as simple as unpacking them to gallery, and that will take your data set from this ready for training stage and allow you to view it inside our gallery. And this is really kind of the home screen of our data set management page. So that's one way of getting data in, but now I want to add some data to it. I've trained them all and found out maybe there's some gaps with specific scenarios that I'm going to add images to address. So I'm going to go to the upload screen and kind of get in some new images here. So I've prepped them, they're ready for upload, and I can add tags. And so at this stage, what adding a tag will do, we'll add a tag to every single image that's in this upload. And this can be existing tags. I don't have any here, or you can add new tags, and this will allow you later on to filter them, to use it for grouping images together and kind of help you to manage your data. Let's see, I'm going to upload them with 9 images. It shouldn't take too long. And then once they are uploaded, they are visible in my gallery and ready for annotation. So now I'm going to jump right into annotation, and there's a couple different ways we can get into this. So if I just click on an image, I can see those details, and this is annotation mode, ready to start drawing my bounding boxes around my object objects of interest. And this has all the objects, all the images that I have in my gallery. Kind of more targeted ways are I can filter by, the tag that I just added to every image. So that's going to allow me to be a little more targeted in my annotation, or I can go by uploads. This is the upload I just made. And so clicking on these filters will reduce the images to just the subset. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I could also, filter by images with no annotations, but really just, there's a couple of different ways to get into the images that I want to annotate. Right now, I'm just annotating a subset, just the images that I just uploaded. So then now I'm going to get into annotation mode. So that's here in annotation. I can either select from existing annotations, or similar to before, I can add new ones. This one, since I'm adding it to a data set, I'm gonna go with an existing annotation. And then once I'm in annotation mode, every click that I do is going to add that annotation. I can then navigate to the next image and continue annotating. And every time I navigate to a new image, the annotations of the previous one are automatically saved. So I don't have to worry about losing data. And however you want to annotate images, some people like to choose an annotation and then go through all the images and just do that one particular annotation. Another way is making sure you've got all the annotations of your project in every image before going to the next one. And don't worry about the annotations. This is for demonstration purposes, so they're a little fast and loose here. But I'm just going to annotate these images. If I mess up, I can change the annotations. I can change the labels, but I'm just going to go through and annotate all the images that I've uploaded. Let me finish this process. Oh, I'm on head instead of helmet. So we can go back and change those. Yeah, so now I've got one more image to do, but I've annotated all the images that I just uploaded, and I'm ready to combine them with my other collection. So I'm going to save changes just because I'm extra thorough, and go back to my gallery page, and now I've got all my images. But what I wanted to do was add those annotated images to an existing collection. So again, I can, I'll show just a different way to filter them. I'll use the tag that I created in upload, and then I will select all of those and add it to an existing collection. Again, this collection came right from our data sets, where someone had uploaded a data set, trained a model, decided it needed a couple more annotations, so unpacked it to our Dataset Management tool, and now we're adding images to it. So now they're added to the collection. Let me clear this selection, and I'm going to go look at it. So Steve mentioned, but you may be asking, what is a collection? We're making data sets here. I'm familiar with the term data set, but what is a collection? And what we decided when making this is that you really want to make a distinction between a data set, which is immutable, it's been trained, and a collection. And those are kind of two different states of your data, where a collection is kind of in flux. You can add images to a collection. You can change the label of the classes of a collection. You can kind of mix and match, and that's kind of in flux, as I said. But then once you publish it as a data set and train on it, you really want to keep a record of the specific images that are in there, the state that they were in, for when you're in the model training process and that iterative process of training and testing and evaluating, exactly the data set that went in there. So if you had made changes to it, then it's gonna mess up your data. So that's where collection is a way to combine data in that step right before a data set. And we can go over that later. So this is the collection homepage. It tells you the images of the collection, tells you the classes. You can add tags to collection, again, just for filtering purposes. That will add tags to every image in that collection, and that's just really giving you the flexibility to move images around later, to combine collections later into large data sets, and so forth. It's got the train val test split, which of course is the split of images that for training you feed to the model, and those are the images that it actually uses to make predictions and update the weights based on the result of those predictions. You got the validation images, and those are the images that the framework kind of keeps in store for evaluating the model. And then you've got test images, which are kind of kept out of the training process entirely, and those can be exported and used in your application for kind of a more visual evaluation of the performance of your model. And we've got kind of a standard breakdown here, but we can help you with that breakdown. But really, the more images you have, the less you need to hold out for validation, because there's kind of a number there that it makes sense to hold out. But you don't need to hold out 30% of 100,000 images, because you don't need to validate on 30,000 images. Excuse me. The other thing that we can view here is the class distribution of the model. So in order to have a really robust computer vision model, you kind of want the classes to be relatively equal. You don't want to introduce bias by having one class be really overrepresented, which you can see here in this model, where we've got helmet is really overrepresented, not just in the data set, but then kind of in each one of these categories as well, the val and validation and test. And this is kind of an artifact of just a demonstration, but using this knowledge will help you, add images, show you where you're lacking in terms of examples, kind of really give you more insight in images you want to add. In this case, it's kind of a transition between just doing a helmet model to more of a vest model, but this will kind of give you that insight and look into your model. You can look at the assets of your particular collection and kind of go and review annotations from here as well. So this is that same screen that I was showing before, and this is from within the collection. And if you look at this, let's say this particular image is a little tricky, where you've got this center person is kind of covered by this person as well. It's kind of an adversarial image, which we may not be ready to introduce at this point. And we say like, hey, this looks like one large person, but it's two, and say, I'm kind of going to clean this data. I don't want it in my data set. And so you can just remove it from collection, and then you won't have that there to kind of mess up your model. You don't want it to introduce any bias at any point. So kind of really, as Steve mentioned, gives you the flexibility to kind of make those granular changes from this stage. And yeah, you can really use this as a cleaning tool as well. So now I'm ready. I've got my train val test going. My class distribution, while not optimal, I'm okay with at this point. And so I'm going to publish it as a data set. This takes the data and loads it to your data set list. And once it's in your data set list, it's ready for training as a model. There's no need for data loaders to worry about the format of the annotation. As Steve said, there's no need to bring it down and upload it back up. That once it's in your data set list, it's ready to go and train in our model training toolkit, where we're going to use, the supervised machine learning using these annotations to train a couple different architectures we have for object detection models. So that's there. You can see I've just published it. It's ready. This was the previous data set that I've unpacked. I've changed the splits, so it's ready for training. I'm just going to quickly kind of say go over the model training tool in case you're not familiar. Here we've got a couple different architectures for you to train your object detection model. Once that starts running, I'm not gonna start a session now, but we'll give you feedback of the performance, how it's going during training, and then as well, once it completes, we'll give you the statistics, the mean average precision, the average recall, kind of the data you need to know to understand how well your model is going to perform. And then, of course, it goes into your model catalog where you can bring it down and put it into a computer vision application for use in your project. So that's it. Now I'm gonna kick it back to Steve and Catherine. We're gonna have a Q&A session, but we really want you to use it to get feedback. These are just the start. We're always introducing new features, new functionality, based on feedback and based on usage of the product. So yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Todd. That was awesome. So as Todd mentioned, we do want to open the floor to Q&A. So you'll see at the bottom of your screen, there's a section for you to submit any questions that you have for Todd or Steve, any questions about our new dataset management feature, or just about computer vision in general. We're here to answer any questions that you may have. I will give it a minute to see if we have any questions come through. All right, we have one question. All right, this question is from Ronald. He said, awesome upgrade regarding image manipulation tools. Is there any included? Tools such as image, contrast, color, scheme, etc.
Yeah, so augmentation at this point, that level of control is on the roadmap. So, we have those as scripts that you can apply to your data sets, and we have what is built into the framework of model training. So the kind of basic augmentation is built into PyTorch when you go to train your model, and kind of those more advanced granular controls of augmentation is probably a late this year addition to the dataset management tool.
All right. Next question is, well, Ronald responded. He said, great to know. Is it in the pipeline? Thanks. Great to know that it's in the pipeline. All right. Thank you, Ronald. All right. Next question is from Dean. He said, can this be used as a repository? I might be saying that wrong. For seeding other models on other platforms. Which ones? Repository. Thank you for the correction in spelling. Can this be used as a repository for seeding other models on other platforms? Which ones?
So at this time, it's part of our platform, and we'll give you a link where you can use it. So it's really unlike something like a RoboFlow or something like that. It's really designed to be used within our platform and over to the model training. So I guess it's a closed garden right now. Anything you want to add on that, Todd?
No, yeah, I guess it's meant as the kind of simplification so that as Steve mentioned, it feeds into our model training pipeline, where then, our models are available and ready for use in your application.
All right, next question from Dean is, are annotations and tags kept in IPTC?
I'm not familiar with IPTC. I guess I'm not familiar with IPTC. I mean, our annotations are in, we store them in Cocoa format, and then just, associate tags with images and collections, just through our database.
All right. Any other questions? All right. If there are no other questions, I'm going to pass it off to Steve to close this out.
Yeah, so, well, thank you, everybody, for attending. Whoops, wait, just as you say that.
Oh, we got someone. Okay, so auto annotation tools that use AI are of great help to do a head start in the annotation work. Is that something that is being worked for future updates?
Yes, so we are working. We actually do have tools in place and are using them with our customers to do that. So auto annotation is part of the roadmap and part of the pipeline. And for our customers, we can actually go ahead and get you set up with auto annotation, as we usually use your first model as a base, and then we add to that and so forth. But we do have auto annotation. We just haven't fully productized it yet.
Great questions. He said thank you. Right. I'm just going to give it another minute in case anyone's typing their questions. All right, last call for any questions. All right, Steve, off to you. Oh,
all right.
Another one.
This is the way it is. Nobody wants me to talk anymore.
This just makes it fun. Okay, for deployed projects in which new images and data sets are being generated, is there a way to use this tool to annotate those new images?
So the answer is yes. We do have, you can data capture and then combine those into a new data set / collection process. So yes, that is part of our pipeline. And then you can add those and then start the model training process, right? From that. Looking at Todd, just add them to the current data set.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple different methods of getting data into this dataset management tool, and then once we're there, kind of Steve mentioned, now it's a manual annotation process, but it's great to hear your guys' questions, and kind of validate our roadmap and how we're prioritizing it going forward with our cloud-based inference servers, which will allow us to do the the auto annotation, to connect it directly.
Just adding new images to as they come up. So like you're down running, we do this all the time. So I know it's in the product, right? So I think what they're asking, they know auto annotation's coming, but they're asking, hey, is my data set forever? Or so I add new stuff and then start then use that data set to retrain the model? And the answer is yes on that.
Right.
You add it to the data set, so it's there, and then even from other data sets into that data set, and create a new one to do it. I think what will be very interesting coming up later in Q2 is when we do incremental learning. That will allow you just to add the new pieces, the new classes to the section without fully retraining, which will be kind of nice on that. So. All right. Anything else on this? Sorry, Kat, I'll take over your. See if we get into that. Feel free. We'll give it a second here. Well, probably longer, minute maybe on it. All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for attending our first webinar on Platform 2.0. We'll be coming back in April with remote deployment and management. So I look forward to seeing everyone there at that one. And what we're going to do today is we'll send you a link to get the audio. This will be on YouTube for people to review. We'll also, I think Kat's going to be putting up a link you can take to try and use the tool. And if you have any feedback, we have a developer, I can say talk, the developer Discord channel. And on that, we would glad to help you get, set up, get going, and then answer any questions and any great feedback or any ideas of how to enhance the product and so forth. We just love that. So hopefully go out and kick the tires, and Kat should be giving out that information. And I think, Kat, are we going to email everybody who attended and so forth on the attendees list? And
yes, so we will email. Correct. So we'll email all those links to you. Right now, Zoom is not letting me send a chat to everyone. I'm not sure.
That's probably because I'm a control freak, right?
I'm not sure why.
I'm not
But
sure
in that
why.
case, we'll definitely email those links. So as Steve just mentioned, we'll email you our Discord link that we can send for you guys to be able to ask any additional questions. It's a great community, very active in there to answer any questions. And we also have Always AI members in that group there.
Yeah.
And then we'll also send you a free link. So if you're not signed up for our platform already, definitely sign up and get your hands on the new Dataset Management tool and get familiar with it. And then if you have any additional questions where you'd like to speak with someone at Always AI, definitely reach out to us through our Speak with an AI expert link, and I'll send that through to the email as well.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us.
Thank you.
Bye now.